The more I think, the less I know. Lyric breakdown. Let's get into the lyrics of this track that I released back in 2022. I believe it was 2022. Time is, at this point in time, it's all one thing that I don't even have any idea when I release these songs at this point, because there's so many out there, which is a good thing, I guess. I definitely have a tendency to overthink, definitely have OCD tendencies. But that being said, like with time, thankfully, and a lot of work, I've gotten much better at managing those thoughts and those thought patterns, and recognizing when they come up, and proactively working against them. So let's go into the lyrics. The more I think, the less I know, but I still do it even though I'm trying to break the habit. Overthinking and anxiety, they're habits, they're habitual ways of thinking. What the crazy thing actually is, as a creative, I've recognized in my life that overthinking and the way that anxiety works, and the spiral of it, is actually very similar to creativity and songwriting in my life. The way I write a song is I have an idea or a melody or 3 lines, and I'm looking for a 4th line, and I'll repeat them over and over and over and over and over again in my head, trying to work it out, trying new things. And that concept is very similar to how anxiety works, where you're kind of just repeating and thinking around the same exact thing. So I've recognized, this is a pro tip from my life that I've recognized, is that sometimes I've found that if I'm struggling a little bit with anxiety, one of the reasons that might be, there could be a lot of different reasons, right? A lot of different triggers, a lot of different things. Staying healthy, eating right, going to the gym, getting the right sleep. For me, taking cold showers, all those things help. Drinking decaf coffee. But another thing that I've also found that contributes to struggling with anxiety is if I'm not being creative enough. I found that I need to use that circling, spiraling kind of concept proactively in creativity, and that makes such a big difference. And when I'm not using that creative side of my brain, I tend to lean to it's going to be used regardless, so then it just goes not for the great things. So it can definitely be a habit though, and trying to break the habit. And the more I think, the less I know. That first line means as I continue to go down that spiraling thinking pattern, the more detached from reality, and the more I get wrapped up in fear. I'm like, I don't even know what's true anymore. You know what I mean? My mind's a mess when I'm in control, but I still do it even though I'm trying to break the habit. In the past, especially when I wrote this, thankfully, I'm not at the same place. I'm really grateful to say that. But when I wrote this, it was just like this place of like, I want to control the future. I want to control my thoughts. I want to control the people around me, all this stuff. And when I'm trying to control it, especially the thoughts that I'm having and stuff, my mind's a mess. I can't control it. And it just, the more I try to control, the more messy and crazy it gets. Let go, because overthinking is underliving. I know. I'm learning to let go, because holding on is all that I've ever known. Let's break this down. I'm learning to let go is probably one of the most powerful lines in this chorus, for me at least, because it's first of all, it's a learning process, and second of all, letting go and not pursuing those patterns of the thinking patterns. I've learned to just say, no, I recognize that thought pattern, I recognize where that's coming from, I'm not going down that path. And it was 8 years, 10 years of learning that, but through every day saying, let's like going to the gym. Every day you get stronger and then it gets easier and easier to say, no, I'm not. I recognize it. I know where that leads. I've seen the fruit of that. There's a saying in Spanish, if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And the same thing, if that trigger sounds like anxiety, if it looks like it's the same pattern, it's probably not a true thought. It's probably like that anxious kind of thought. And learning to let go of those things and not have to say, okay, I'm going to think about it, was a really hard thing, but really freeing thing once I started to trust that I didn't have to control it. Another cool thing I think is overthinking is underliving. The more I think about things, the less I'm actually living in the moment and enjoying the moment. There's so many amazing times I had in my life that were robbed of me a bit. Looking back, they were definitely robbed a bit. I still can see the good in them now, but because I wasn't in the moment, I was in my head, and learning to let go, but holding on is all that I've ever known, meaning through my life and through childhood and all that stuff, I've seen the patterns of overthinking, and I'm learning to let go of them and break the habit. Why do I do the same things over and over again, replaying it all in my head? Kind of like what I said with the songwriting, it's like this like pattern of just repeating the same thoughts, it's the same way of thinking, repeating it all over and over and over again, and just getting sucked down into this crazy thought pattern. I hate this feeling, heart pounding inside of my chest, still trying to catch my breath. If anybody has ever struggled with anxiety, it's actually a very physical feeling too, where like your heart actually starts pounding, you sometimes start sweating, you get tightness of chest where it's like you take shallow breaths instead of deep breaths. And I hate that feeling. Very simple, very simple. Back to the chorus, let go, because overthinking is underliving, I know, meaning I've experienced it, like I know that feeling. I'm learning to let go because holding on is all that I've ever known. God help me let go. And now in the bridge of the song, it starts to break down a little. It's a little more acoustic. I think this is a really cool part, just in like a really relatable part with I personally think, where it goes, they don't understand it. They think I'm dramatic, but that's not their fault. Because how would they understand if they've never lived with the panic attacking everything they know? Cool little rhyme right there. Not rhyme, but like half sentence where like, because they've never lived with panic attack, like a panic attack, but like panic attacking everything they know. Because panic is like, it's like you're like a force literally attacking everything you think is true becomes like not true when you're having a panic attack. It's attacking everything you know. And this is essentially going to be like the aspect of like people think that, you know, when somebody struggles with anxiety, they might not understand, they might not relate because they've never experienced it themselves, and they think, oh, the person's just, you know, well, they're just dramatic, or they're just, and you know, some people definitely are, but like there are also people that like it's actually like something chemical in their brain. Like I've learned in my life that I definitely wake up with a very large dose of cortisol, which is the fight or flight hormone, and if I don't burn that off in the morning, like going to the gym or, you know, taking a cold shower and stuff, like that lingers and that affects my brain. It's an actual chemical in my brain, and if you don't have that, you would never relate, you know. So we all struggle with different things and relate in different ways, but that's essentially the lyrics to these songs, and I'd love to know your perspective and what you thought of them. So thank you so much for watching. These are the lyrics to The More I Think, The Less I Know.